Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are a brand new subscriber. My name is Kyle, and today I will be reviewing the film Mank, directed by David Fincher and starring Gary Oldman as alcoholic screenwriter Herman J. Mankiewicz, who in 1940 was tasked to pen the script to Citizen Kane within 60 days. Due to a recent car accident that broke his leg, he is bedridden in order to write the script. The film also travels back to the 1930s, where we see his rather bittersweet relationship with Hollywood, including actress Marion Davis, the studios, his political ideologies, and his clashings with legendary newspaper tycoon William Randolph Hearst, of which Charles Foster Kane in the film Citizen Kane is based on. I was very excited to see this movie because David Fincher is one of my all-time favorite directors. Seven in particular is in my top 5 films of all time. I absolutely adore it. I think he has a fantastic filmography. And Gary Oldman is undoubtedly one of the great actors of our time, and I was excited to see them finally team up. In terms of its technical level, with the look and the sound of the film, Mank is marvelous. Fincher and his team made painstaking efforts to recreate the look and feel of the 1940s and 1930s. Everything from the pre-Dolby Digital sound, to the minimalistic camera movements, to the use of cross dissolves, and of course, cigarette burns.
If you look for it, you can see these little dots come into the upper right-hand corner of the screen.
In the industry, we call them cigarette burns.
All of these ingredients blend together to make a very bold, ambitious, risk-taking film, and I always appreciate it when Hollywood tries to make something different. This is also a perfect segue into the dialogue and plot of the movie because, like the look and feel of movies of the 30s and 40s, the dialogue is just as crucial. This is one of those movies that I will again call ambitious because it demands your attention. From scene 1 to the closing credits, this movie does not stop. It requires you to pay attention and to listen to every little detail, which can seem very meticulous with all the action movies we get thrown at today. There are many layers to Mank, and that's something I was both expecting and not expecting. It's definitely a film I'm going to have to see more than once to understand everything that's going on in the story because there is so much depth to basically every scene. Gary Oldman, as I stated before, is one of the all-time great actors. I think he is fantastic, and once again in Mank, his performance is excellent. You really feel like this man is truly embodying Herman J. Mankiewicz. Through his mannerisms, his tantrums, his alcoholic tirades, all of those little traits go so far into creating a very complex, depressed, but very ambitious man who tried to make something different. I loved Charles Dance as William Randolph Hearst, and I think Charles Dance is one of those actors that never gets the credit he deserves, particularly with Last Action Hero. I love that movie, and I think he's fantastic in it.
If God was a villain, he'd be me.
It's also important to note the specific time period because this was the 1930s after the stock market crash. Because William Randolph Hearst invested so much of his money, he lost a great deal of it, and he was dealing with depression himself. I thought Amanda Seyfried was great as silent actress Marion Davies. I think that she added a lot of great humor to the role, and she was able to get Mank very down to earth whenever they were conversing with each other. I also think the time period of the 1930s is pivotal because this was the time where silent films were beginning to be taken over by what they called talkies, movies with dialogue. Many great silent film actors and actresses fell into obscurity as a result of this. So I do think the time period is very, very important. I think Mank does a great job of capturing the realism of old Hollywood. The fact that there was this very glamorous side where there were tons of parties and drinking and all that kind of stuff, but there was an undercurrent of depression, especially for those who lost their jobs, and after the stock market crash, people started to get paid less. People started to get laid off. There's a whole sequence where the head of MGM is talking to his company about them having to cut costs, which is very scary and feels very authentic and realistic. I think Mank is a difficult movie to review because I'm not sure how much of my audience, or for other people who are reviewing this movie, their audience has seen or is even aware of Citizen Kane. Now, I'm very sure that a lot of you are, but for those of you that aren't, I think Mank will be kind of difficult to understand if you're not as familiar with the time period. And I do think that it's important for you guys who haven't seen Citizen Kane to watch that before seeing Mank. I think if you guys want to sit down and get engrossed in a historical drama, I really think Mank is going to be that movie for you because it is very involving. It's all characters. There's really no violence in the movie. There's only one sequence, and even that isn't really shown on screen. I would say my one flaw with the movie is that I do wish that there was more emotional weight, especially towards the second half. There is a scene where two characters clash, and I do believe it's in the trailer if you've seen it, but if you haven't, there is a sequence involving a major monologue given by Mank, and I feel like there needed to be a little bit more emotion from the other side. It just didn't feel like it was enough. There are times where the pacing of the movie can be a bit slow, but again, that really is supposed to be the feel of an old Hollywood film. It's definitely a slow burn, and I feel like people who aren't really fans of that will have a bit of a harder time getting into Mank, but I do think if you want to see a film where the story is just as pivotal to the visuals and the stylistic choices made by Fincher, then I think you're going to have a good time with it. Overall, I'm going to give Mank an A-. I would definitely recommend you guys seeing it. Again, the pacing has a few moments where it drags, and I do think there could have been a bit more emotion. But overall, I think Fincher has made another damn good movie. I think Gary Oldman is fantastic. The whole cast is, including Tom Burke, who played Orson Welles. I didn't mention him before, but I think he does a very good job. Anyways, guys, I thank you so much as always for watching. Please don't forget to click that like button, subscribe for more, click that post notifications bell, and of course, stay tuned.